You're welcome back. It's still the Policy Council, and my guest has been His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola SCN. We've looked at the constitutional amendment process, security in Lagos State. In this segment, we want to talk about major projects of the state. There are thousands of projects in Lagos State, but we want to zero down on just a few, the high impact ones, with His Excellency. So, Your Excellency, let's talk about the one that I have driven on that road several times, the Korodu Expressway expansion and BRT project. It's a major one, and obviously it would open up a major segment of the state. But a lot of people are complaining about the disruptions and the delays on that project. What do you have to say? Is there a way it could have been done otherwise?
Well, let me say first that whatever inconvenience our people are going through now, I can only offer my apologies and an appeal for their understanding. But the story and the rhetoric has changed. 2 years ago, the rhetoric was that the road was unmotorable. And when were we going to fix it? And so the debate out there was how we were trying to design the road. When we finished designing the road, the debate was, when are you going to start? Now that we've started, the debate is, when are you going to finish? Convenience, and when are you going to finish? And you know, those things keep us on our toes. We understand the sense of expectation. But what I just like to share with citizens is more patience. We see why this is happening. Is for our own good, and there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. So this is a pain with gain. To say that we have a very difficult task to rebuild an existing city. It would have been nice if that place was virgin land and we just built before people came there. But almost before we can start, the place is densely populated. And we had the same problem with the Lekki Expressway. Yes, and we were working night and day. In fact, I remember once I told the contractor, my people are in pain. You know, can you accelerate this? And he said to me, Governor, you know what? I work at night to build this road. I work during the day to manage the traffic. I don't know any other way. So if you want this road to move quicker than this, can you give me the authority to shut down this road for 6 months so that nobody drives through from Lekki? So can we shut down that road for 6 months? Clearly that would be a worse choice for the citizens. So I just appeal for their patience. As I told somebody, I wish that I could put my own head down so that you can drive on it and not feel the inconvenience while the road is being built. But sadly, maybe the truth we should tell our people is that you can't eat omelette without breaking egg. No, I'm sure they know that development has to come at a price. Even if I was not governor, right, I will still complain too as a citizen. So I understand it. As they are complaining to me, I'm complaining to the contractor even before I hear their complaint. So this is life. You know, at one point, some places the complaint was they didn't have roads. The rhetoric has changed. They are complaining now that the street lights on their roads are not working. So it's not a praise and thanksgiving adventure. We're not looking for that. We know that we won't get it. So we are not looking for it. That's why I've continuously told my team that the only reward we will get for any hard work is more work. You know, in one other area they were complaining at the time that, look, okay, we know you are building this road, but there's too much dust. So can you tell the contractor? And I said, okay. I called the contractor and said, look, wet the place. There was another area where I said, okay, we see that the refuse trucks are now here. They come. But you know what? They are disturbing us. Why should they come in the morning? Why can't they come at night when we are sleeping? So we changed. So this is what we deal with. I understand it. You know what is important about it? They are asking us to change. They are not asking us to go. So it's a vote of confidence in our abilities, and we must not feel irritated by it. And so it puts a spring in our feet. We will get to the end of it. It's part of the expansion of the BRT network. We had from Ojota to Marina. Now it will extend into Ikorodu town. It's already reaching places like Alimosho. On the Badagri expressway, there's a BRT corridor. So the process of initiating such a policy and implementing it is not a process that will be without pain. You know, I recall also when the El Maktoum highway from Dubai was being built, expanded, and the rail was also traffic into and out of the Dubai airport for anybody who knew that city at the time, 2007, 2008 up to 2010. But it's all done now. Now they have the money to do all what they could do. So we are reaching out for such ambitious heights with very limited resources. So it's not easy for us, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Let me give you some feedback from some of my employees here and in my office who say the BRT buses are getting older, in some cases dirtier, in some cases not showing clear signs of good maintenance.
I get it. I get those feedbacks too. I get those feedbacks, and we've started addressing the issues. As I've said on occasion, the buses don't belong to Lagos State government. Now there are two sets of buses here. The red buses, which belong to our bus company, Lag Bus, to run the less profitable routes that bus operators may not be attracted to, and the BRT buses that belongs to the Union of Road Transport Workers. Now when we made the investment and built the bus lanes, and they made the investment and bought the buses, we're dealing with new buses, but everything that is new ages. Even I am aging as you are aging. So now it's our responsibility now to begin to fix those things. Now we have no bus factory, we don't make the parts, so we have to import all of these things. And then a bus that has done 4 years certainly needs replacement. So we have to import. So the unions have imported some, but it's not enough. And they are also importing now in an environment where they are borrowing money at 24%, 20-something percent. Now we don't want them to raise prices. So what are the investment incentives? I don't control that. So when we deal with some of these micro policies, these are the long-term effects that they have. When the ports are not operating efficiently, buses wait in the ports to get cleared, and so on and so forth. But it's not a problem that we are agonizing about. I am already doing something about it. We are licensing more operators now, so there will be a complement of newer buses on our roads very soon. But having said that, citizens must also understand that if they sow the wind, it is likely that what they will reap is the wild wind. When they get angry at government policy, when they get angry at not service, the answer is not to burn down a BRT bus. The answer is not to smash the windows, because that is what has come back to haunt us now. So a few buses that could still have served, we have destroyed with our own hands. I think it is important to take away that message also. So it's challenging, but it's not overwhelming. We are deploying solutions, we're recruiting skills, and when this thing started also, we started as a necessity. We're learning on the way. Now running a bus franchise is a set skill. Not everybody has it. We just hired some people now who will come and help with fleet management, fleet planning, fleet replacement, fleet maintenance. It's a skill that are not sufficiently available here. Some of the first graduates of my transport school in Lasso are just going to come out. Those are the skills that they are acquiring to build a sustainable transport system for the state.
Let's take a time out. I'm with Governor Fashola of Lagos State, and we're talking about Lagos State. We'll be right back.
Who knows Abi better thing? Abi who no like better thing? All these fine things wey they see so. Now money government they take do am now. Abi, I think it's like You know? I mean, excuse me, I dey pay my tax. I dey do wetin? I dey pay my tax. Say you don't pay your own tax. Have you pay your tax? I pay oh!
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back. It's my final segment with His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola SN. Your Excellency, let's quickly talk about Badagri, because it's a major significant project. Train services will come back. It's huge. When will it be finished? Are you going to finish that project?
Well, it's difficult for me to say precisely when it will be finished. You need to understand the undertaking in Badagri. 60 kilometers of 10-lane highway. So essentially we are building a 600-kilometer road with a 27-kilometer train service in between. So as a transport investment, I don't think that there is any project of its size in one place in these parts. We are racing for money, and the logistics, even if we had all of the money today, right, the thing won't transform overnight. You need several cubic million meters of sand, man hours, and so on. But we have design, we have process in place, we have procurement concluded, we're working hour by hour, overcoming obstacles and all of that, and if the project is moving, it has not stopped, and that's the most important thing. And whether one administration finishes anything or not is something that we must de-emphasize here. It does not allow for long-term planning in a government, and we have of course overcome that hurdle in Lagos State, so that, because if we start only things that we can finish, this state and this country won't develop. So it's the capacity to say we want to do projects that will take 7 years, and one administration starts it and hands it over to the next one on a sustainable basis. And I think that's the most important thing. It is very, very likely that some of the early service will start very soon as we complete, because the hardware on the train, for example, is only one part of it. We now have to begin to do signalization, we have to test, and so on and so forth. We have to train people, and it's a whole lifestyle change.
Okay, Your Excellency, let me move away from projects to, there's this survey we've been hearing about, and I think I've heard you say a little bit about it, but not so much in terms of details, that says that Lagosians spend X, maybe up to $1 billion monthly or something on parties. Is this true? Well, and what are the implications if it is true?
Well, I would not focus on the amount, and I think that narrows the subject. The analogy I would draw is what happens in Europe on Saturday and Sunday, and what happens here on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday and Sunday, many Europeans are either at cinemas and theaters or largely at football fields. So if you look at the football field and the football stadium as our party, you would understand what I am trying to allude to. There are people manufacturing balls, there are people manufacturing jerseys, there are people who are stewards in the stadium, there are people who are vending water, who are vending tea, coffee, there are people who are making jackets. At least I know that in the Old Trafford Stadium, there are certain sections of the stadium that you cannot sit in unless you have a jacket. So if you don't have one, there's somebody whose job it is to sell you one. So that's a whole economy. People are being moved, transported to and from those stadiums. Now look at our parties too. From Thursday or Wednesday, the Ashobi starts moving around. Tailors are busy. Bakers are busy. Food, drink makers, ice block, transporter, bands are rehearsing, MCs are getting ready with their jokes and all of that. So it's a huge economy as well, and that's what we are trying to measure. to see how many people are employed by that activity, because a lot of money is going inside. The numbers we are seeing are quite interesting. Showing that about 2 billion is going into food and drinks every month. So the question, and people have predictable income, whether you are making, you are just involved in photography, whether you are the hairstylist, whether you are the makeup. We found that in for some weddings, for example, makeup costs as much as 150,000 naira. So this money is not disappearing into anybody's pockets, but into our people's pockets. And it's how to measure and understand what is going on in this economy, that there's a middle class there that is not wearing ties like you, but their balance sheet is changing their lives. Can we do more of that? Those are the reasons why we're studying this. Okay.
That study is concluded?
Yes. So the study is concluded in the data. Now we're not doing the analysis.
Okay.
Because the traditional, I'm going to university to get a degree and to go and work for X oil company in order to get money. We're seeing now that people out of necessity have become creative, providing services and employing people. What can we do to give support to their spine? That's why we are conducting this. We saw that as a result of policy only that our government instituted, people move parties away likely from the roads into event centers and hubs.
And then we had that event center economy.
So those policies, so it's trickling down.
Okay, let me talk about not politics but the political system. There's a significant change which you're obviously a part of. We're moving back, as political history has shown. We're moving towards a two-party system. We're moving towards APC and PDP. Is that something you're excited about?
Well, it really, my excitement should not be the all and all of it. It is what it portends for the people of Nigeria. You see, I've had people say, well, you know, I didn't like this party, I didn't vote for them, so I don't care what happens. And I didn't vote for this other party because I know they won't win. They are too small. And if I may use the football analogy very quickly, you know, everybody supports the Manchester Uniteds and the Barcelonas of this world because they are likely to win the league. The Wigans of this world are not likely to get a lot of following.
So and that happens only live in Wigan.
So that's happened, like what you see also likely in politics. People will not go and vote because when they look at it, they'll see that there is no real contest. So they'll say, I didn't go to vote. Or they'll say, well, you know, I just voted for them. I know they won't do anything. Because nobody wants to associate with a loss. So what it brings really is not what I think about it. It's the opportunity that there's a real contest here. And the citizens can choose left or right. When the disparity between representation in parliament is not such a huge disparity. So that even from parliamentary control, you can force change in government. So one party does not have almost 30 governors and there is sprinkling left for the others. And therefore, there is a no contest. It doesn't encourage people to come out. No, people don't go and watch a no show. They go and watch a contest and they want to feel and cheer a contest. So that's what it brings. So and you will see that in countries where that parity is close, it keeps the political populace on their toes. One mistake, you know you are out. And it reduces the level of the kind of impunity we are seeing here because they know that there is really no chance to remove them. And that's why I said at the convention of the CPC in Abuja that a choice between the PDP and the PDP is not a choice. So it's really what it brings, whether APC wins power or not, is not as important as the equalization of choices and the investment of real sovereign authority with the people at the ballot box to say, you know what, you dropped the ball in the last 4 years, we're switching
to the alternative.
Your
Excellency, as you draw towards 75% of your tenure as governor of Lagos State, are you thinking of legacy? And are you thinking of what you will do next?
If you begin to think of a legacy in the final quarter of a football match, you may lose it. So you first have to win that match. So we're in the last 15 minutes of our football match, if you put it that way. It's usually the most defining 15 minutes. And your team usually won in the last 15 minutes. So my team drew many games. So those who have followed Alex Ferguson knows how decisive the last 15 minutes can be. And that's why we're refocusing our attention on the last 2 years. They are going to be as important for us as the first 2 years.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for coming again to the Policy Council.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola has offered distinctive service, even though it's only 3/4 of the way through his tenure as Lagos State Governor. He epitomizes the type of leadership that we believe on this program should be offered at every level, at the local governments, at the state governments, and at the federal level, in ministries, in departments, in the private sector, and in civil society. A leadership that focuses on outcomes rather than office, that focuses on value rather than position. And that leadership has delivered results for the citizens of Lagos in terms of infrastructure, in terms of sound policy, and in terms of transformation. We hold this model up to the rest of Nigeria, and we believe that if we can emulate the example that he has set, our country will develop. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.